Bitcoin continues its lower time frame tear as the SEC prepares to run its own full nodes. Bitcoin bulls are out in full force as a senator claims that Bitcoin is unbannable. Meanwhile, Bitcoin overtakes stocks in Google searches. The FCA publishes the best guidance on cryptocurrency that I've seen to date, and we talk about why the Lightning Network will save humanity in today's exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. All right, guys, welcome to Breaking Bitcoin, recorded live for you Friday, August the 3rd. Whoa, it's not August the 3rd, it's Friday, August the 2nd, 2019. Your daily source for market updates, sentiment, and news for traders and investors. I am your host, Justin Wise, lead analyst and senior mentor at crackingcryptocurrency.com. Hopefully you guys are doing fantastic wherever you happen to be tuning in from, and whether you're watching from across YouTube, Twitch, DLive, Facebook Live, or on Roku at the Investor News Channel app. If you want to support the show, make sure to subscribe, follow, share, and engage in the live chat, and smash the like button, guys. Highly appreciated. Today's episode of Breaking Bitcoin is brought to you by the Cracking Cryptocurrency Premium Trading Group. If you are a new, aspiring, or experienced trader and you would like to trade with us, learn our rules, and learn our tools, then check out premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com to see what membership can offer for you. Again, that's premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. We've got a fantastic show for you guys today. Quick updates before we begin. We finished compiling the results of our end of month trading results. We'll be publishing those on our social media later. I also wrote this morning a blog article describing kind of our journey through July, talking about, you know, the harrows, the pitfalls, the intoxicating highs, the depressing lows, all that goes into realistic trading, what an actual month looks like, especially from the eyes of a mentor, from the eyes of a professional trader. I posted that this morning to the members in the group, so they already have access to that, but we'll be publishing that today on the website and then posting all that around on the social media so that you guys can see how we do things and what results we get on average. So look forward for that today. I want to give a big shout out to our current Discord Nitro boosters. If you guys would like to help our server and you have Discord Nitro, you can of course do that. We have a special role for you and we highly appreciate the support. EOS trading competition on Bybit, up to $60,000 in prizes. I have assembled a team of great traders. I'm very much looking forward to this. There's going to be a deposit bonus when open registration starts. It's going to start on the 5th. To the best of my understanding, this is going to be a little bit different from previous trading competitions on Bybit because it's not like, trading competitions that we've done on Bybit or that they've done for other entities on Bybit, nothing like that. This is a global competition that I think anybody can participate in. So I think it's going to be as easy as, I'll have to wait to see the interface. I know I'm already registered as a team captain, but you go to I think you're just going to go to the page on Bybit where they're hosting the competition. You can see all the different team captains, and then you can click and choose to join what team captain you want. It's to the best of my understanding. I don't actually know if I can refuse entrance, if I can be like, no, we don't want you on our team, or we definitely want you on our team. But I do know this, that we have assembled from our trading group a fantastic group of guys and some guys that are in our Discord as well as other individuals that I know. So if you are on Bybit and you guys would like to participate in the EOS trading competition, get a hold of me, or you can just sign up to trade under me. Again, I'm not exactly sure 100% how that aspect of it is going to work. I'm just going to have to wait and see what the framework looks like when they publish it. But registration begins on the 5th. I'm well aware of the guidelines, how the competition will be tracked. There's all kinds of prizes for individual things. There's team bonuses, individual trading bonuses, volume bonuses, all different types of things. So really excited. I think this is a fantastic opportunity. And if you guys aren't on Bybit, of course, you can use the link in the description down below. Shout out to yesterday's crypto comment giveaway winner, which was Trunker. Still waiting for you to go hold of me in the Discord, my good man. Hopefully you are crushing it with the Ichimoku. That must be why you haven't gotten a hold of me yet. So we'll waste no time and get right on here into the live scene with today's crypto comment giveaway winner. And as I said yesterday, I said I would have it ready today. I don't have it ready yet. It's been one of those months. We've got a lot going on with the beginning of the month, new members coming in, working on mentoring currently existing members, and obviously working on all the automation processes that I'm working on, looking at continually upgrading my strategy and my personal trading as well. So, but I do want to give a big shout out to today's crypto comment giveaway sponsor, which is X42 Protocol. Make sure to go check them out at x42.tech. Big shout out to the team. Fantastic community, great Discord, great group of gentlemen and ladies, and they are sponsoring this month's crypto comment giveaway. So we're going to go ahead and pick a random winner from yesterday's video, which was happy UASF anniversary. Bitcoiners, interest rate cuts, Bcash exchange, and Bitcoin's price. Make sure to go watch that video yesterday if you didn't get a chance. Specifically the part about UASF, if you don't know the history of SegWit and how SegWit was enabled, and one of the greatest dramas that's ever played out in Bitcoin's history. Also make sure to go check out the part where I talk about interest rates and what this means for the economy and why I am bullish on the stock market, why I'm bullish on Bitcoin's price fundamentally moving forward, and what that means for me as an investor and what implications it could have for you as well. But we have 12 unique commenters from yesterday's video, so we'll randomly pick a winner. And we have Mr. or Mrs. Choudhary. So thank you so much for commenting on yesterday's video. They say great content as usual. Get a hold of me in the Discord, my good friend at JustinWise5696, and I will tip you some crypto. All right, getting right into the live scene today. We do have an interesting time in the market. And I think it's a good opportunity for me to thank Lesha Cash. Thanks so much for joining the community over there on Twitch. And Mari Silva, thank you so much for joining us over there on YouTube. Okay. Alex, good to see you over there on Twitch, my good friend. Elijah Finch, what's going on? Finch Meister. I tried to join Justin. I don't think it will allow you to just join. Okay, I gotcha. I will definitely have to look into that today. Professor Wally, BitPay news from Germany. I guess regulation can have an impact. That is true. From what I saw about, the only thing I saw about BitPay this morning was on Twitter, where somebody was basically saying that the way that they are doing their transaction cost is bad and is a security flaw potentially. But again, BitPay does have a good security track record. They're one of the best custodians out there, but I'm going to have to look definitely more into. So definitely try and let me know in the chat if there's something that I don't know. Ferguson, Handy Rams, Ron Legato, Kyle Mitchell. Hopefully you guys are doing very well, man. Nathaniel, awesome to hear, man. Awesome to hear you're saving money for whatever purpose. Saving money is fantastic. We love saving money around here. The way that we save money is by saving money. All right. It's Hard says, hi, everyone, not getting YouTube notifications. That's because they have throttled me. They have throttled me. They're out to get me. It is an Illuminati, Lizard Lord conspiracy. I swear to all that is above, all that is below, and as above, so below. So we have Bitcoin on the daily here on the Bybit chart. Let's look at what's going on with Bitcoin as we start off with our Bitcoin analysis. I'm really going to have to get like some flashy. Anyways, that's a conversation for a later time. Very simple TA today, guys. This is pretty cut and dry. What do we have coming in here? What are we looking at right now? Obviously, for those of you who are a little bit newer to the channel, we are looking at the primary and the secondary baseline, okay? Those are going to be our indications of where trend is, where is price relative to the trend, and what does that tell us about what positions can be put on. So we are above the baseline. That means that we only look for longs when price is above the baseline. Midwest says, no wonder you never see my comments. Undoubtedly that is what it is. It is clearly YouTube conspiracy. You know, what's funny is if you I logged on to an unregistered account yesterday, just went to YouTube as a guest in an incognito browser and typed in crypto, and things that come up immediately on the top are going to be, there's things there with like 200 views. There's things there with like 50,000 views. There's things there with like 9 views. I'm serious. Go try it. And yeah, we're nowhere near that, which is weird because, well, I mean, we commonly have anywhere from 500 to 1,000 people per show live watching. We commonly get over 1,000 views per video. We have a good like to dislike ratio. I mean, we normally only get a few dislikes per video. That just comes with the territory. So I really don't know what it is that we can do. It's something I don't worry too much about, but definitely if you know somebody at YouTube, find out why they don't like me. But I think that it's just part of being a new YouTuber. It's part of continuing to grow. And what's more important to me is not the stats on YouTube. What's important to me is that I know that we have a extremely strong community because we get the same core number of people showing up every day. You guys are active in the chat. You guys are active in the Discord. We talk in DM. We talk in the group. We talk in the Discord. And it's just building that community of traders who care, who are here for a similar purpose. And we continue to grow. We continue to strengthen that bond. And that's how movements are formed. That's how we grow. And we also have to realize that I come on air every day and teach my trading strategy, which is juxtaposed to basically how most people do things in the market. And I'm pretty vocal about my opinions. I'm pretty passionate about my beliefs and how I frame things and how much I want to help people and how fervently I believe that most educators in the space either A, don't know what they're talking about, B, aren't real traders, C, are just repeating the same nonsense they learned when they became traders. And so now they're trying to regurgitate it back to you. I promote a life of discipline. I promote a life of strategy. I promote a life of investments. I'm somewhat negative on altcoins sometimes. I'm positive on stocks, right? So all of this is kind of not normal for your regular crypto YouTuber. And I think that just comes with having a background in handling actual big money. That comes in having a background in investing for a long period of my life. It comes from a standpoint of being financially independent. And it comes from just being a contrarian. So, but you guys are awesome. We will beat the lizards, Elijah. We will beat the lizards. Ricky Thompson says, because XRP is not on the list to be analyzed every day. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, and BNB, you have to ask for XRP near the end of the show. I gotcha. So we put an XRP and the Lizard Lords will give us the grants of fiat. That's what we have to do. Okay, I got you, man. I am sorry, Yagami. I'm very sorry. You know what? Just for you, because we're homies, I'm going to cover XRP right after Bitcoin. Okay? All right. So getting to Bitcoin. What do we have currently forming on the daily? We do have this kind of gravestone doji candle formation, typically a reversal pattern. Kind of depends on how it closes, of course. You can't know the structure of a candle until it closes. People try to predict candle closes. But anyways, I'll give you guys the TLDR, the tail of the tape, as it were. And Bitcoin was just proceeding on its bullish daily pattern. Let's actually take a look on the hourly here. And let's just look at Wadatar Explosion. Wadatar Explosion actually gave us two fantastic long trades throughout this period. We will note that during this time and period, price is above the baseline. We actually get a long signal here. We get our first long signal here, right? We take that trade. That's a very good, successful trade. We get another long signal here. That's a good trade. We get another long signal here from Wadatar Explosion. And that is just simply applying one filter. If I were to use Wadatar Explosion as my primary entry indicator, and I were to use Minx in this example as my confirmation indicator, so we can see that we are above our baseline. We have Minx signal, or excuse me, we have Wadatar signaling along. We have Minx confirming that long. If we go up and look at Minx, we can see that Minx is green, i.e. above the zero line, i.e. bullish. And there we have, I've just shown three examples of three successful trades. And those were really the best trades to be taking. If we go back, we also have one right here. Here is a long trade right here. So there's four. So basically, PTP on the 1 hour time frame caught almost every single leg of this movement to the upside, from the $9,300 area back up to the $10,500 area where we are currently kind of nestling. Price currently sitting at $10,440 on the Bybit chart, and we just put in a pretty girthy black candle to the downside. So not extremely eager to be hopping into a long based off of this. We're always looking for, these trend reversals, being hesitant when we're trading on the hourly. Of course, we did close below the baseline. So until we get back above the baseline, even on the hourly chart, we wouldn't be looking for any long positions at this point in time. We would actually be now gearing up to be looking for short trades using this time frame. But let's go to the daily first, and let's talk about what the daily structure is telling us. So on the daily structure, we are above the baseline. Yesterday, we did not go long, and it's a good thing that we did not, because again, remember, on the daily time frame, we're looking to have a signal to generate a strong trend that we are going to be able to ride on any time frame for many, many times. So, I know what some guys do, and this is something that I've also done in the past, is look for that daily trend to change, to give you the long signal on the daily. Enter into that trade on the daily, and then manage that position essentially by trading lower time frames in that general direction when those lower time frames signal the change, right? This is actually going, now what you're going to do with this is you are going to lose out on some winning trades. But what you're mostly going to do is you're going to lose out on losing trades because you won't be trying to trade against the dominant trend unless the system that you have back tested on these lower time frames is so good that you don't even need to reference the daily trend. This is possible. You can just trade within the meso, i.e. middle term, or micro, i.e. small time frames. You can do that. We do walk you through, again, all the testing procedures of how to find your own indicators, of how to properly test them. We provide the tools, the spreadsheets, the rule framework. We give you the example template that we give everybody that I use myself. And that's what everything is designed to do. Thank you so much, Crypto Slice of Life. I highly appreciate that, my good friend. Fire9BR says, I'm new here. Awesome stream, awesome voice, awesome place there. Thank you so much. Highly appreciated. Awful graph colors. I like them. I love them. What are my thoughts on using the Ichimoku cloud? So I use the Ichimoku cloud for years, and it is my personal opinion that if you do not have a trading system, that you should probably begin with the Ichimoku cloud because it teaches you to trade by rules. It has very clearly defined rule sets. It has lots of components that you can customize to your own desire. There's lots of signals that it can generate. There's lots of signals that you can test. It's very easy to test. And I have a very good video on using the Ichimoku in my Trading Crypto 101 playlist here on YouTube. So you can just go to yt.crackingcryptocurrency.com. That's going to bring you right to the YouTube, or just search for Cracking Crypto on YouTube. And it's the Ichimoku in the Trading Crypto 101 video. It's one of our more popular videos. It's had thousands of views. And it walks you through every single component of the Ichimoku, how to trade every single one of them, also how to apply discretionary position sizing to your trading as well. So I am quite fond of the Ichimoku cloud. It is a fantastic trading system, and it also generates really good results in cryptocurrency. LaRon says, I love how you teach. Can't wait till I can afford your quarterly membership plan. Saving up for right now. It's good to, again, as I said, thank you very much for your kind comments, but it's good to save money. That excites me. I'm weird. Saving money excites me. Putting money into my investments every month excites me. Putting money into my savings account, which I use Wealthfront now because it generates 2.57% interest, which is risk-free money for me, which I love. Wasabi! Shailesh Yadev, you can check premium.crackingcryptocurrency.com. It's the top link in the description down below. We'll guide you through the steps. If you have any questions, you can hit us up in the Discord. The link is in the description down below as well. So anyways, on the daily, we are putting in a little bit of a bearish candlestick, which kind of excites me because we are going to be getting a confirmed long signal out of this movement. Doesn't mean that the trade is 100%. It just means that the indications are there for a good bullish trend. If we had a rising explosion level, that would seal the deal and put the pin in the cake here for me. Let's take a quick look at VPCI and see what VPCI says about volume, confirming the price trend as well. So we'll go to my indicators, we'll go to my scripts all the way down at the bottom, and we will take a look at VPCI. Now, looking at VPCI, VPCI does not confirm this long movement. So again, VPCI is something that we're showing on stream. It is not an official part of my system yet, but it might be because I'm currently testing it against the system, against the indicator that I currently use, which is not available on TradingView. Unfortunately, I'm working on porting it over, but it's being tricky. I've been working on it for a while, and on top of many of the other things that I'm working on as well. But I digress. It's not a component that is necessary. It's just another one of those things that when you find a good indicator of volatility beyond ATR, which is going to be used by us for a different purpose, you're going to filter out way more losses. And that is the point. That's the point of what we do. We design a system that is successful, and then we chop off losing trades, and that puts more money in your pocket. Thank you, Dominus. Yeah, it was really fascinating for me to go back and talk about that moment of history in Bitcoin's price. Not just Bitcoin's price, but that moment of history in Bitcoin community, how Bitcoin Cash started. You know, a lot of people forget about that or didn't know because 2017 was such a crazy year for so many people. And most people were really concerned with altcoins and with just price because price was just skyrocketing. And it's easy to not pay attention to the community. But people have been around for quite a while. That's, June through August 2017 was all hands on deck. So anyways, we have Minx signaling along. We have Wadatar explosion signaling along. Volume price confirmation not confirming the long. Or not telling us that there's a lot of volume in the trend. We did note one thing, though. We saw that VPCI was above the zero line. So again, we've talked about different rule sets that you can apply to your volume indicator. It can be above a certain threshold, or in the case of that line indicator, it can even be the tilt, which way the direction is moving on average, if it's smoothed out enough. If it's something really sensitive like Minx, where one candle can change it, because of course Minx is a very sensitive indicator, then that's a little bit different. But with something like VPCI, which is smoothed over a long portion to give you the trend, that's going to be very powerful in my opinion. Right. Yes, I'm sure he was writing in his book. Wrench. I don't see a wrench. It's just me. It's hard, says Justin. Did I see your charts on Discord? I did not. I'm sorry. Did not get a chance to answer my messages this morning. I had a lot to do this morning, especially with writing that article, kind of finalizing up all the stuff in the group for the month of July, and working on some TradingView stuff. But it's coming. Is there something? Is there a chart that you would like me to check out? I'd be more than happy to do that. So anyways, so let's look at where we are in relation to our last filter that we're going to talk about, which is the qualifying line. And we need to adjust this real quick. Back to cryptocurrency. And where are we? We are within the boundary. We are beneath the qualifying line and above the baseline. And what does that mean? That means that the long signal is valid. It means we can go long. So everything looking good the way that it is. I'll be looking to take a long position this evening on daily candle close. If price dips a little bit lower to the baseline, even so much the better. The only thing that will invalidate this trade is obviously Minx turning against me, price closing back below the baseline, or any other such facet like that. And again, I did talk about this. I did talk about the potential. I did talk about the potential of. I did talk about the. Thank you guys. You guys are very, very kind this morning. You're welcome at Foxton. I highly appreciate that. Justin doesn't check his DMs. Our secret whale convo is sitting stagnant. I do check our DMs. You know, who else am I going to make the Bogdanov call to, man? You know, dump it. So we'll see, guys. We'll see. This is the first time that Wadatar explosion has turned green since the 9th of July. The 9th of July. And as we can see, we did get not a confirmed long signal here. We would have been able to take one here, and we actually did have a profitable trade right here on the daily time frame. So if all works well, where are we going to be looking at? We're going to be looking at around 11.1, 11.89, 12.62. Now that would be still a lower high, right? Now that's going to be a higher high than this previous motion over here, but as opposed to a swing high And even though it does fit the definition of a technical swing high, for me, anyways, this is definitely a swing high. This is definitely a swing high because it stands out. This one doesn't really stand out as much. And again, to me, this is more range, right? So we have a range. Let's actually not draw it like that. Let's make it a little cleaner with lines like this. So we do have a pretty well-established range, I would say. We have a range right here. This is going to be our range high. And we have a pretty well-established range low right here, based off of previous resistance right here, establishing our lows, and based off previous support, establishing our range highs. Okay, so we are at resistance. Technical, traditional price action would probably have you shorting this movement based upon the fact that we are testing resistance, and that movement has already occurred. Like you can already see how as we approached resistance, we sold off intraday, right? So let's go back down to that hourly chart, and as you can see, price bounced off of our lows, did a little bit of a double bottom, and then price climbed, generating long signals in PTP fashion. Price climbed up into to test that resistance, those previous highs on the daily time frame, which was, as I talked about over here, previous support, previous lows, previous resistance, right, on a candle closing basis. So that was our daily level of resistance, and you can see this very well established range, right? Now, there's a couple problems with, now obviously, individuals that took this movement short, the people that actually moved the market to the downside are good. I'm not 100% sure that people who look for this shorting movement are going to be successful. Again, it could be. Again, this does look like a valid short. Again, you're trading against the daily time frame now. Who's Snapchatting me? You are trading against the daily time frame now, but typically what we would see, and again, this is kind of being congruent with order block fashion as well, is, there's going to be a couple different strategies for this. Obviously, we're going to be looking for, this is where liquidity is going to be above this daily high. So price action traders are going to be looking for a sweep of this high. So they're going to be looking for price to go up there. They're going to be looking for a lot of people to buy the breakout. And then that's when they're going to take price short, which still means that based on where we are right now, with average volatility, we still have a profitable trade, even just to hit take profit one. And again, if that does occur, if that sweep of the range high does occur, then we can look for additional volatility to come in the form of explosive buying before the actual movement to the downside. But again, that's all predictive, subjective, overall nonsense, to be quite honest with you. But again, is how a lot of people trade. I just want to give you guys an idealization of what a lot of people are going to be thinking when they're looking at this chart, when they're interpreting this market, what they're thinking in their head, and what they're going to be telling their students. You're not supposed to announce our OTC trades publicly. Sorry, man. There's somebody else. I found a new broker dealer. Okay. Okay, so that's basically what we're looking at. Daily time frame is signaling along. We are at resistance for our range as well. So take that how you will. It's not something that really applies to my trading methodology or to my trading strategy. But again, if you are a trader that is looking at this, that is something that you'll take into account. But again, I just want to point out to you, examples like I've just drawn look very clean, look very simple. The problem with this is that if you actually go back and test these theories out, you'll find that they generally don't work as well as one would be led to believe. Okay, let's go to the 12-hour, which again is a little bit more sensitive. Now, on the 12-hour, on this on the 1st of August halfway candle, right, UTC time, we did get a confirmed Wada explosion long signal, and we got the 12-hour long signal from Minx over on this candle right here, where we do cross above the primary baseline. Minx turns green, and Wada explosion signals the long as well, setting us up for this 12-hour movement right above the resistance of the secondary baseline, which did act as resistance twice over here, and previously as support. So we are above that level on the 12-hour chart, meaning we have formed a little bit of support around the $10,220 area. So that potentially is a dipping zone. Similarly, if we go to the daily chart, if we look for a dipping zone, that's going to be 10,088. So let's just say 10,100 to 10,200. If you were looking for a pullback, would be the area where you would want to be setting your limit buys to take advantage of that primary baseline bounce on the daily chart and the secondary baseline bounce on the 12-hour chart. And in more simpler parlance, where you would want to be buying at support. Okay. Now, let's see here. Everything still looks good. Everything looks, all systems go on the 12-hour chart. We do see Minx kind of curling down and approaching the noise line on this current 12-hour because it is a little bit of a drawdown candle for the 12-hour time frame. So if we do end up closing into static, that would be telling us, just wait for a little bit, wait for another strong signal, wait for a strong breakout. So consolidation is absolutely possible here after a strong explosive movement. And then we can kind of take the way that price breaks either to the upside or to the downside. But again, my bet would be on the upside at this point in time based on the volatility that we actually did put in. So we've got a full day. Well, not a full day now, but we got about 6.5 hours before we have to make a decision. And that's plenty of time for price to appreciate and move the direction that it's likely going to move. But again, we're kind of moving into the stagnant hours where not a lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff happens between the daily candle close and now. And then in between now and the daily candle close, not so much market activity. Typically. It's hard. Please check them if you got time. I think you will like them. I would love to check them out. And going over to the 4-hour, the activity time frame, as we call it, we do, again, get nice confirmed long signals starting here on an actual pullback candle. So you would enter long here on the 4-hour time frame, where Wada signals an explosion, where we cross above the zero line. Let's see here. Do we actually? No, it would have been on. Yeah, we are below. No, we are above on that candle. So actually, yes, we would have gone long on this candle right here. Caught this movement to the upside, re-entered here potentially. We re-entered here, caught this movement, re-entered here, caught that movement. So good. 4-hour time frame traders are killing it and have caught this entire rally. How much exposure on that 10.1K, 10.2K dip would be appropriate? So that's definitely something that you have to decide for yourself. For me, it would just be a regular trade, anywhere from 1 to 3% risk. You determine your risk up front, how much of your account you want to lose. So that's not how much of your account you put in the trade, but you need to put in enough into the trade so that should you hit your stop loss, you will lose 1 to 3% of your account. That's the way that I position size and the way that I teach people to position size. We have a formula, we have a calculator for it. It's all done automatically in the trading journal. But the math's not difficult. And again, the hourly chart being pretty active as well, giving us lots of nice entrance into this rally. All right, so daily time frame looking for a long, 12-hour time frame looking for a long with potentially a pullback, 4-hour time frame, and 1-hour time frame. 1-hour time frame looking for a short, 4-hour time frame, no trade on the table at the current moment in time. XRP. Let's start off with XRP to the dollar, and we will look at the perpetual contract on Bybit. So XRP to the dollar. Here we are on the daily time frame. What can I say? Price does not look fantastic, man. We are below the primary baseline. We are consolidating in a symmetrical pattern. As I've said many times, people are going to draw triangles. They're going to draw symmetrical triangles. They're going to draw wedges. There might even be like, I've even seen people draw like, boats, like, hey man, get in the boat. You know what I mean? We're breaking to the upside. That looks like more like an Egyptian tier, but moving right along. It's called coffee, guys. Yagami. Thank you so much, @Foxton. XRP USD on the daily. We are below the primary baseline. Looking at this chart. Oh, I kind of abridged there. So when people say symmetrical patterns, symmetrical triangles, blah, 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 what that means is that typically you're getting lower highs and higher lows, or vice versa. And what that means is that the trend is not clear. You are in consolidation. Consolidation can be either accumulation or distribution. And in this particular sense, this consolidation could be either accumulation or redistribution, because we can see the redistributive pattern occurring up here, where everybody that bought here used this area to basically sell when price reached its highs. And then there were too many sellers and there were not enough buyers to buy the excess liquidity in the market, and price moved to the downside. That's how things happen. So you never know in advance whether whether a consolidative pattern is going to be accumulation or redistribution in this particular example. If it occurred somewhere else, we would be asking if it was distribution or reaccumulation. But there's only two possible scenarios for a consolidation pattern. But it's much simpler to just say the truth, which is when you have a symmetrical pattern, it means that the signal is unclear, and that basically makes it a no trade zone. Okay, so for me anyways, as we can see, we are below the primary baseline. Wada explosion has basically kept us out of the market on the daily time frame since the 18th of July. As you can see, price has been up and down and up and down, and good volatility definitely on the lower time frame. So when you're basically being told to not trade on the daily time frame on an asset, as a daily time frame trader, you just move on to the next thing that's giving you a signal. But if this is an asset that you're trading, then you have no directional bias, and now you are either range bound and you're trading resistance and support, as fraught with all the perils that can be, or you're looking to take trend following trades on the lower time frames. But it's just more risky, meaning you need to reduce your risk. So you need to be doing half risk, quarter risk, whatever that you've determined. But those are going to be my initial recommendations: half risk, quarter risk, something like that, because you're not getting those strong trending bullish or bearish signals on the daily time frame. So I would be biased to the short side on this because we are below the primary baseline. But as we can see, Wada explosion has flipped bullish, but we are not above the baseline, meaning we cannot take a long on the daily. But it also means that I would most likely not be looking to take a short. Of course, the short on the table that was on the table 2 days ago was, as it's been for the last two trades, the reversal baseline bounce. So taking the reversal off of resistance, which was previous support in the form of the 13 exponential moving average, strengthened by the fact that we're coming off the heels of a 13 exponential moving average crossover. So price currently trading at about 31 cents. This does not look overly fantastic to me. Can I add a coin to the list, win BTC and win USDT? Yeah, sure, man. Let's take a look at them. Let's see here. Yeah, so this is definitely a no trade zone for me. The only thing, here's what I would be looking for. Since we are flirting with a movement to the upside, with Wada explosion flipping bullish, I would be looking for price to rally and close above 32 cents, almost 31.8 cents, 0.318. That's what I would be looking for, because that's currently where our primary baseline is coming in at. I'd be looking for that breakout move to the upside to be looking to take the long. It seems like as soon as we close above that level, we'll most likely be getting the long signal. And if that happens with enough volume and momentum, then we'll also get the Bollinger Band separating apart, which will give us a rising explosion level, which will also be a pretty strong signal, because the Wada explosion signals aren't frequent, but when they occur, they test very, very well. 70% plus percent profitability. So in this scenario, I would not be taking any XRP USD trades. Personally, I remain 1x short on XRP USD because I'm just locking in my capital that I have over here on Bybit. Let's see here. If the daily does close like this, I mean, we do have a continuation short on the table, but Wada is not really in our favor, so we really wouldn't be looking to take that trade. Yeah, so this is no trade zone for me. This is no trade zone for me until Wada flips back bearish, or until we get a nice breakout long signal above 31.318. Going over to XRP BTC. Going over to XRP BTC. Get rid of these lines. Just kind of wanted to scroll out for demonstration purposes. I kind of feel like drawing something here. Like, oh, I know what I want to draw. Oh, shoot. Give him a little mustache. It's the XRP fish. Yep. So the question is, are you a guppy or are you the fisherman? Right? That is the question. So anyways. No text notes. It better not be a boat he's drawing. Okay. Let's get back into this and let's load up our indicators and bring back our systems. Okay, so XRP BTC definitely flirted with the long over here. We got the long signal here on XRP BTC. We actually took XRP BTC to the upside. We took XRP U19 to the upside over this area of price. That was a winning trade for us. We hit take profit 1, sold the rest back at break even on that trade. And then price closed below the baseline here. This was the movement on which we actually got stopped out at break even in profit. And price continued descending to the downside. Now, Minx did move to the downside, signaling a short signal. But as we can see, Wadatar Explosion did not agree. And Wadatar Explosion still does not agree. So, again, it's very similar, man. Definitely a no trade zone for me on the daily. Definitely a no trade zone. So let's go down to the 4 hour and see what we can generate here. Now, the 4 hour, on the other hand, if we can look, the 4 hour gave us, I mean, the most gorgeous of all gorgeous trades. We have a signal from Wadatar Explosion on this candle, and then we get a confirmed short signal on the 4 hour chart on this candle, and we catch pretty much all of that 10% movement to the downside with a rising explosion level. So just using that indication right there. Now, I just want to point out that the trades that I point out look perfect, but I don't have a 100% hit rate. So let's go look. If you are using Wadatar Explosion, here's a long trade that Wadatar Explosion would have called, right? And that was a losing trade. But then it gave it right back to you with this. I think that, overall, blessings and countings and things and stuff of that nature. So I definitely don't see anything to do here on the 4 hour chart. We've had a moving average we've had a baseline cross under with our primary baseline crossing under our secondary baseline right here in this avenue. And yeah, nothing to do here. I mean, the reversal trade is there for the people that want to take it. You've got maybe 2 or 3% back up to the upside. But, in that same kind of vein of reversal trading, look at these lows that have yet to be tapped, right? These are bases to crack. And I would feel fairly hesitant wanting to take a reversal trade without sweeping one of these previous lows. I would feel better looking here on the 4 hour chart, since I do have that slightly bullish bias on the daily. We're just not there yet. I would be looking to form somewhat of a higher low here, even though I hate trend lines. But you get my point. Looking for a higher low, looking for some consolidation throughout this period, and then looking for a bullish trade to the upside, to be honest with you. Don't count your blessings before they've hatched. XRP fishes perish. All right, let's go over to Ethereum. Ethereum on the daily did not give the long signal. Ethereum on the daily did not give the long signal. So take this as you will. I've talked about using Ethereum as a leading indicator for Bitcoin. I've talked about using Bitcoin as a leading indicator for Ethereum as well. But we can see in this scenario, where did Ethereum get to? Ethereum came right up to the daily baseline and currently is rejecting from it. Now, Minx is crossing above the zero line. Wadatar explosion is closing above a falling explosion level, a drastically falling explosion level, meaning that there's not a lot of gas in the tank. There's not a lot of explosive force power, meaning there's not going to be a whole lot of potential there for the trade here on the daily time frame, looking for that nice strong daily signal. But since WADA has flipped bearish, the trades on the table are, of course, as always, going to be the reversal baseline bounce. Why? Because the risk to the trade is so small. Because if you close above the daily baseline, then you exit the trade. So it's a very small risk to reward ratio. So I think that's the trade on the table for Ethereum. Of course, that would lend us to have a bearish bias on Bitcoin, because Bitcoin USD and Ethereum USD are always either bullish or bearish, or one just stays stagnant while the other one moves and then the other one catches up. They almost never go in opposite directions, right? They just move at a different pace and different volatility and different speed, depending on, where the whales are trading this day or the next, right? It just seems to be that way. I don't see a long trade on the table for Ethereum. We need to close above the primary baseline. We need to close above, let's say, 219. It's actually 218.95. I would be expecting that moving average to close a little bit higher today. Going down to the 4-hour time frame. 4-hour time frame did give us this long trade right here. Taking to the upside here was a good one. And then this one here caught this trade to the upside as well. Probably still in that trade, unless, actually, no, would have been out of that right here on this candle when Minx crossed underneath into the static line. So no trade zone. We did just have a 4-hour baseline crossover, which is pretty bullish. So I think there's potential here on the 4-hour time frame if you're looking for something, but I don't see a daily trade, meaning that the daily trend has not been strongly established yet. So LTC, BTC. Yeah, Litecoin, Bitcoin, glad to get out of the trade when I did. Exited LTC, BTC, a little bit of a loss yesterday, and then I'm glad, and then price, moved to the downside fairly drastically. But WADA's still bullish, not confirming the short movement. So I think this is obviously just a result of Bitcoin's bullishness. Bitcoin, the best laid plans of altcoin to Bitcoin trades laid to waste as always by Bitcoin USD. So just kind of regrouping, waiting to see what signal we get on Litecoin Bitcoin. It's currently in a no trade zone for me. On the daily, there's no daily trend. So going down to the 4-hour chart with a neutral bias, as we can see, we do get the short signaled here from Minx, setting us up for this short trade. We are at support here on the 4-hour time frame. So a couple options: either we end up cracking this base and you take the breakdown trade, or you'd be looking for this reversion to the mean trade. We've got about 4% to the upside if one was looking for the reversal trade. You guys know that we don't trade reversals, just pointing out the trades on the table from a statistical standpoint. And we've got this looming moving average cross under as well. And remember, as I've said, often when we get these baseline cross unders or crossovers, price does put in a reversion to the mean trade and retreat back to that level of previous resistance or support before continuing on in the dominant direction. That's why those baseline cross unders are so pivotal. No, I will not be using a discretionary trade with Litecoin, Bitcoin, due to the halvening. I don't think that I don't see what effect the halving has anymore for price. It's already happened. The run-ups occur typically prior to the halvening event. Actually, there's a really good article that I just read that was published, and it researched price activity in the 6 months prior and after to all major coin block halvenings, and they found no direct correlation between the halvening and price action prior to or after, except with a slight bias that with Litecoin and Bitcoin, you often see run-ups prior to a halvening event. Now, we don't have a lot of data to base this off of, but to me, that just speaks volumes that the memes that are painted for most people, as are with most things, not accurate, right? Like, these things aren't just directly correlated. People are like, well, the halvening's coming up, so price is going to skyrocket afterwards. Or the halvening's coming up, price is going to dump afterwards. It could go either way. And it's the same with Bitcoin. Like, people assume that the halvening will make Bitcoin be more bullish, right? Whereas from a fundamental level, people say, well, there's more supply now, or there's this, or there's that. All it does is make the savings rate for Bitcoin better by bringing the inflation rate up a little bit, actually, on average statistically, if you're looking at how the inflation model is set to grow over time, keeping the inflation rate around that 2%, which is good. And yeah, so I mean, I don't see the trade on the table, and nothing, and the halvening event doesn't really matter. I feel like we've had the run up to the halvening, so whatever happens now is going to be based on traders' decisions and not what miners might be doing. Why haven't we made our own exchange? That is so much headache, because I would, if I were to make an exchange, which I'm not going to. If I were to make an exchange, you have to deal with regulation. You'd have to deal with all that. I mean, it could be fun, could be interesting. I don't mind promoting exchanges that I like, talking about the exchanges that I like when I find good ones like Bybit. But running my own exchange sounds like so much of a headache, man. So much of a headache. My lifestyle is all about freedom and financial independence, and not having to answer to anybody. And then as soon as you get an exchange, it feels like we'd have advisors, and it's not like we don't have that with Kraken cryptocurrency. We've got analysts, and we've got advisors, and we've got counselors, and we've got lawyers, and all that other stuff. But it's it's just one of those things, man. That sounds like a headache and a half. Okay. Yeah, I mean, B-Flow, I see what you're saying. I just typically do not trade news events. I find that in my experience, the setup will be there in the technicals. And if it's not there in the technicals, then it doesn't really matter what the news article says. Or again, but that is me. I am a technical trader. I avoid, to the best of my ability, all realms of subjectivity when it comes to my trading. So it just seems like it's just not the path that I've chosen to walk. What about miners? Don't their efforts get cut in half? Yeah, I mean, their block reward is definitely going to get cut in half. Yes. Yes. Let's see here. BNB. BNB having a nice little reversal bounce. Let's see. We got off the baseline cross under here, and we had that reversion to the mean trade here, which basically started on the candle. As you guys can see, here's an example of that reversion to the mean trade. Don't really see anything spectacular. BNB BTC has had a pretty big sell-off movement. I don't see any trade here or anything that I would really want to buy into. And BNB USDT, similar, leaning bearish on BNB USDT. What's interesting is this looks like BTC, or this is the daily, or this is the 4-hour chart. Sorry. So let's go back to the daily. BNB USDT on the daily. Price coming up, crossing above the primary baseline, but as you can see, Minx nor WADA signaled along, and we immediately rejected back under it. So that's how we avoid false signals. I had some people ask me oh, price closed above the baseline, we go long. I'm like, no. The baseline is not the signal. That's just a filter, right? So cautious that. So no clear trade here on BNB USDT. Guys, we're gonna go to break. When we come back, we are gonna go over the Forex markets. Guys, I said this yesterday, not a humble brag, but I'm just pumped. I am crushing it in Forex, like crushing it. I ended up closing out the month of July, which was my first month back in Forex after a long absence, and did amazingly well. First week, or what are we, like 2 days into August, and the trades that carried over with me from the end of July, I mean, it's good. It's good. Things are really, really good. Very happy. A lot of market activity in the Forex markets over the last few days. So we're going to break that down. We're going to look at potential trades as we are moving close. We've got about 3 hours until the daily closes on the Awanda candle. So we'll be looking to do that daily scan around that point in time. So guys, just for the guys in the group, you guys already know this, but it looks like we will definitely be supporting Forex, assuming this month goes well. So yesterday, I deposited a more significant amount of capital onto Awanda, and I'll be trading with that now, and I'll keep you guys updated on that process. So before we go to break, as traders, speaking of exchanges, selecting an exchange is a very important decision for a trader. And in my opinion, these are the 3 metrics you should evaluate when selecting an exchange: security, ease of use, and customer service. You have to trust that your funds are secure. The platform has to be easy to use, but offer good features. And most importantly, they have to have good customer service, because things are going to break and you're going to want to talk to somebody who can help you fix these things, right? Things are going to go wrong and you want to talk to somebody who can help make it right. And I have not yet found an exchange that does that like Bybit. It's been the most pleasant trading experience over on Bybit. I've moved almost all my funds off of BitMEX over onto Bybit that I want to trade with over there on Bybit. So that is the exchange that I utilize. That is the exchange that I recommend. If you guys would like to go check out Bybit for yourself, you guys can go to bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com or use the link in the description down below. If you use that link, they will give you $60 in margin to test their platform out. You cannot withdraw that $60, but you can use it to trade and you can withdraw the profits. Gives you an opportunity to test the platform out for yourself at limited risk. Again, it's bybit.krakencryptocurrency.com. Link is in the description down below. When we come back, Forex, the news, and your user submitted chart requests, guys. So let me know in the chat while I'm gone on my break what charts you would like to see. Don't go anywhere, guys. We'll be right back. And we're back, guys. Thank you so much for sticking through the break. If you are joining for the second hour, we've got a fantastic second hour of the show ready for you guys. We're going to start off with our Forex market analysis, And we're going to break into the news of the day and break down what's going on in crypto today. And if you missed the first half of the show, we covered Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, BNB, and Litecoin, as we always do. I might have mentioned Litecoin twice. Bitcoin, Ethereum, BNB, Ripple, and Litecoin. No, just once. That's 5. Count them. 5 fingers, 5 trades, 5 markets, 5 cryptos, and 5 tablespoons of coffee in this coffee. And also 5 degrees too hot for me to take a sip. Moving right along. Here we go. Of course, if you did miss the first hour, all the show notes and timestamps will be posted after the video is published and put up for your viewing pleasure. And of course, you can find all of that information as well as links to our podcasts at breakingbitcoin.money, link in the description down below. So, getting right into the Forex analysis. We will start off with the Aussie yen. Aussie yen continuing its explosive move to the downside. We can see where the short was signaled. Here we were below. Actually, we need to switch this up. So we're going to switch our baseline from the 13 to the 21. 13 to the 21 right here. Another very good baseline. I'll show you guys some other time. Okay, so Aussie yen continuing to be a fantastic short trade. Not one that I took. I didn't catch most of the Aussie trades. I caught most of the Kiwi trades, as we've gone over before. Aussie Kiwi, basically due to the Aussie trade moving to the downside and the Kiwi trade moving to the downside, the Aussie Kiwi has been basically a pair that you have not wanted to trade. So no signal on the Aussie Kiwi right now. Nothing to do as we go. Looking to the Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar is one that I am short on. As we can see. Price putting in a nice little billow tail right here. One thing that we need to go ahead and throw on is the Fisher Transform, which we're going to be utilizing as our exit indicator, right? And we're going to speed this up to 8. All right, so we're speeding the Fisher Transform up to 8. When the Fisher line crosses above the signal line, if we're in a short, we are going to be exiting that short trade. Do we see the short exit signal right now? No, we do not. So we continue to ride this trend to the downside. Fantastic movement to the downside. Support got broken. This support didn't work. Support and resistance, although can be determined objectively and can be a part of your trading, is not a part of PTP. We determine our support and resistance dynamically through the use of our baseline. So the Aussie dollar is one that I'm short on. This has been a fantastic win. Currently up from my original entry about 182 pips right about now, 185 pips. So very good trade. Canadian Swissy. The Canadian Swissy. Let's see here. The Canadian Swissy did signal a short yesterday. Definitely should have grabbed this one. I'll let you guys know I wasn't able to trade Forex yesterday, so you won't see any of the trades that I should have taken on yesterday. I would have caught a great Canadian Swissy short on this asset thing. Life catches up. I am a single father. Sometimes my daughter gets in the way of regular life. Well, that's not the right way to characterize it. My daughter and my relationship with my daughter is regular life. And sometimes that gets in the way. Being a good father gets in the way of being able to trade when I'm supposed to. And that's okay. Do you know why? Because the relationship with your family is more important. Because I know that trading my system, I'll be profiting from the Forex markets for my entire lifetime, as well as the crypto markets as well. What I won't be able to do is recover from any negative detriment that I make to my familial relationships. That's why family relationships are absolutely critical. And I often start in my mentoring by asking what people's relationships are like with their close ones and with their family, because those can be improved and those can put you in the right winning mindset, put you in that good positive mindset, and allow you to have a sustainable and fulfilling life. Okay, the Canadian yen. Canadian yen signaled a short over here from Watertar Explosion, but we were above the baseline, right? So not a trade we were able to take. And as we talked about the Canadian yen yesterday, well below the qualifying line. However, just a fantastic trade to the downside for those that did capture it, as well as the Swissy yen here, putting in that short signal yesterday below the qualifying line. Not a whole lot of pips to be extracted on that movement. Euro Aussie. Euro Aussie continues to be a strong long. The original long would have been signaled here on this candle on the 25th. And here's where WADA signaled the explosion to the upside. Let's throw on Quadriga ATR. I believe we would have been on pullback mode for that. Change our baseline qualifier. Yeah, actually, no. This is why we weren't able to take the Euro Aussie. Because we closed the candle that generated the signal above the qualifying line, and then on the pullback never closed back within the boundary of the buy zone. So just not an asset we were able to capture. Euro Canadian, I don't see any trade on the table. WADA is generating a long signal. Minx is not confirming, and we are below the qualifying line. The Euro Swissy. Euro Swissy, again, this is one that's not able to trade yesterday. And this one was a qualifying trade, I do believe. No, was not a qualifying trade. We closed below the qualifying line when the signal was generated. As you guys can see, I did take a few short trades over here when it was qualifying. Reversal baseline bounces did take these trades. Euro Kiwi. Did go long on the Euro Kiwi. You can see a couple days ago, I've hit my first take profit today. So we're going to go ahead and move our stop loss up to break even. So winning back on the Euro Kiwi, price looks good. Everything is locked in, and I'll continue to ride that as long as humanly possible. Euro Pound, nothing to do, just consolidation up here at the top, a distributive pattern, potentially reaccumulation. We wait for a strong breakout signal. We can see that the long signal would have been generated on this candle above the qualifying line, so just not something we would have been able to take anyways. Euro Yen as well. Euro Yen generating that short signal here. You guys can see that I just went ahead and took profit on that candle as well, and didn't have the additional orders to the downside. So as far as the Euro Yen, I wouldn't be doing anything with the Euro Yen now. Be waiting at any point in time for price to retrace back up to the back up closer to the baseline for us to be entering into a short trade. Euro dollar, nothing to do on the euro dollar. Was taking, again, I know some guys, again, we got the short signal here. Price moved quite well to the downside. Now looking for potentially that reversion to the mean trade back up to the baseline. Pound Kiwi, nothing to do on the pound Kiwi. Again, we talked about the news event coming out on the British pound. So nothing that we would have been taking at that point in time. We didn't take any British pound trade starting 2 days ago. Now we're waiting for some nice clear signals now that the news has kind of washed away. Pound CAD, nothing to do. Moving into a little bit of an accumulative pattern right here, but waiting for all our systems to flip before we can go long. Pound Swissy, again, gave us a nice reversal baseline bounce here and generating another short signal on this candle right here. Pound Yen, very similar as well. Reversal baseline bounce set up, and again, another short signal here. Pound Dollar, exact same thing. Reversal baseline bounce and setting up the short trade on this candle right here as well. Kiwi dollar, short on the Kiwi dollar. As you guys can see, I took most of the Kiwi pairs to the downside. So I've hit my first take profit here, and I'm still riding in profit, waiting for the Fisher to cross over and give me that nice exit signal. Kiwi CAD, short on the Kiwi CAD as well, waiting for the exit signal, up quite a few pips on that one as well. Short on the Kiwi Swissy, this is probably, I don't want to say this is my biggest winner at the moment, but it's darn close. Now, only 160 pips on the Euro Kiwi. So the previous trade that I showed you, the Aussie dollar, I believe was it the Aussie dollar? Yeah, the Aussie dollar is actually my most successful trade so far. So short on the Kiwi dollar, short on the Kiwi CAD, short on the Kiwi Swissy, short on the Kiwi Yen. Kiwi Yen is also a fantastically successful trade as well. 248 pips on the Kiwi Yen at the moment. Midwest Attempt says, let's see if we can't get these likes to 100 in the next 10 minutes. You have your challenge, everyone. Good luck, guys. Thank you so much for the continued support, guys. Yeah, so Kiwi Yen, nothing to do. Just continue to ride the beautiful trade to the downside. Dollar CAD ended up taking my profits on the long trade over here. Definitely in a no trade zone on the dollar CAD now that we're closing above the secondary baseline, waiting to get a strong new signal. The pound Aussie does look like a good trade. We'll be taking a look at this on the daily close, but we don't have a rising explosion level yet, so we most likely will not be doing anything with this yet, but we will definitely highlight this for a look-see at the daily candle close. Let's see here. The dollar Swissy is going to be setting up for a short. Let's see if we're going to be able to take it. Depends on where price closes in relation to the baseline. Let's see if we can get a little bit of a retreat because we are below the qualifying line at the moment. Dollar yen. Dollar yen continues to be a nice strong short. I would just continue to hold that position open. Aussie CAD as well. We've had a very beautiful movement to the downside. Let's turn off Quadrigo here for a moment. Aussie CAD. Would I be doing anything with the Aussie CAD? I would not. I would not. I would be looking for a reversion to the mean trade potentially at this point in time and a re-entry into the short. Aussie Swissy is the exact same thing. And looking at the dollar yuan. Dollar yuan continues to skyrocket to the upside, guys. Did not break to the downside as I was kind of hoping and as I was kind of expecting. But we actually did get the long signal on the dollar yuan right here at this point in time. And price moving to the upside. Already established in my Kiwi positions, added to those positions a little bit as well. So again, wasn't really taking anything new, but again, analyzing the markets, and all of these popped up as well. You can see the long signal here on the dollar yuan. When Bitcoin dominance 90%. Hey, awesome, Laurent. Elijah says, I don't understand the short game. Well, you just take price to the downside. You click the red button when, I hate to simplify it like this, but if you click the green button and price goes up, you make money. And if price goes down, you lose money. And if you click the red button and price goes down, you make money. And if price goes up, you lose money. When it comes to Bitcoin, it's a little bit more complicated. That's why I made that video that I was talking about. Margin trading, leverage, margin, and short selling explained by a professional trader. So you guys can go check that video out. It's on the Trading Crypto 101 playlist where I go over why leverage doesn't matter, why it's your position sizing that matters, and why you're already 1x long in Bitcoin by holding Bitcoin on an exchange. So to be going 1x short is the same as moving into cash. Long on the Iraqi dinar. So, as I said yesterday, kind of one of the most exciting volatile times that I've seen in a little bit in Forex. So I'm really happy to see this, kind of stepping back into the market after such a long time away trading Forex. The markets have been so giving. Very happy to catch the Kiwi trades that I took. There's just a lot of great activity. Those who are trend following traders caught fantastic trades, especially one using systemic approaches like the one we teach and like the ones that very few people actually in the space try to teach. So with that being said, let's move into the news of the day, guys. We've got some fantastic stuff to go over today. Let's find our first article. All right, so coming from Crypto IQ, the SEC is set to begin running Bitcoin and Ethereum nodes. They're taking quotes from contractors right now. So the United States Securities and Exchange Commission is looking for quotes from contractors who will run the Ethereum and Bitcoin nodes for them. This move is in addition to numerous other blockchains such as Zcash, Neo, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Ripple, and Stellar. So what is the motivation here? Well, moving forward, the contractors will have to make additions of new blockchains as the SEC requires. The SEC has, however, not given any valid response as to why it wants to operate its own nodes. The only explanation the agency has provided is strategic, that the objective is to support monitoring risk, compliance enhancement, as well as to inform SEC policymaking on digital assets. The providers will also be required to be in a position of adding new blockchains as soon as 3 months after they start working. So this implies that the SEC is seeking to apply on-chain investigation systems to monitor what is going on, but it is not yet clear why Bitcoin is in the mix. anyone can operate a Bitcoin node and access all the data because it is a decentralized and open network. But the SEC has no authority over Bitcoin. Following this development, there were mixed sentiments from various factions, with users being divided between those who see this as a bullish sign toward acceptance by the SEC on crypto and those who believe the government will try to ban cryptocurrencies. Most users thought that this is one way of tracking transactions, while others indicated that most data on public blockchains could be easily accessed through blockchain explorers. So a little bit more of a personal take on this. Why would the SEC want to run their own full node? Because you want to run your own full node. I run my own full node. Most people run their own full node who are really serious about their Bitcoin. Why? Because if you do not run your own full node, then you are trusting somebody else's node. You are trusting other nodes to spoon feed you your version of the block history, right? And here's the thing. The SEC absolutely does want to monitor and track Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency transactions. And for them to do this, what are they going to do? They're going to build their own block explorers with their own proprietary database, with their own proprietary set of data scraping, and their own proprietary methods, basically their own proprietary indicators. They're not going to go to blockchain.com or to Block Explorer or to blockchain.info, previous, which is bitcoin.com now. They're not going to go to those websites and use their block explorers. They're just not going to do that. They're going to make their own block explorer. They're going to make their own terminal. They're going to make their own in-house interface with their own analytical and tracking software to track transactions that they're interested in. This is why they're running a full node. They want to set up the infrastructure so that they can monitor transactions the way that they want to without have to relying on some other source, some other node spoon feeding them their information. This is exactly why you should be running your own full node so that you are not relying on somebody else's block history, that you have your own block history that you are validating against other nodes. You're not accepting the work or the transaction history from another node basically by fiat, because that is decentralizing the Bitcoin network and basically eliminating the whole trustless factor of the system. So if you're not running your own full node, like for example, for your cold storage, monitoring your own transactions for your sending and receiving, you are skirting a security flaw. So this is why they're doing it. I think it's pretty obvious that they're going to be making their own block explorers, and they're just moving forward and getting more and more serious about how they're going to do things. Is the United States going to ban cryptocurrencies? Highly unlikely. Are they going to regulate them? Highly probable. And can they regulate cryptocurrencies directly? No, they can try, but what they can regulate is exchanges and user transactions inside countries that they control. So I watched the debate between Peter Schiff and Anthony Pompliano, the Pomp, last night, kind of as I was getting ready for bed. It's an interesting debate. They called it the Golden Debate. Make sure you guys go check that out. It's on YouTube. It's pretty interesting, from CNBC, hosted by CNBC. But during this I came across this morning during a recent episode of Squawk Box. Obviously well-known Bitcoin bull Anthony Pompliano has weighed in on the global crypto race. And it is his opinion that one country, whether it's China, Russia, or the United States, will end up embracing Bitcoin in a very serious way. He claims that nobody can stop Bitcoin, which I agree with. Hence, the country that adopts Bitcoin first will have a serious advantage, while other countries will be playing catch up. And this is something that I think it is so critical to get across to our lawmakers. And I don't think that the majority of them don't understand this. I think that the majority of them are waking up to this. At least I am hopeful that they are. I don't think that the sentiments that we've seen on cryptocurrencies have been exactly negative. They've not been what we want because they're not terribly Bitcoin bullish, but they are taking the space seriously. They are taking the regulation seriously. And I think what we're more than likely to get is we are going to get a more pro-Bitcoin approach than not. I think that they're going to realize that, especially as the Lightning Network begins to overtake popular payment processes such as PayPal and Visa and Venmo and all these things, the Lightning Network is going to overtake all of that. I think that it is my hope for the future that we move more toward Bitcoin and less away from centralized and controllable and monitoring and transactable, or monitoring systems of payment, which are non-cash type payments. We'll get into that here in a little bit with our next article. But kind of the nice thing about coming off the heels of that, one of the nice things about that also is that, say they decide to go the other route. Well, Bitcoin is global. Bitcoin is unstoppable. Bitcoin is unbannable. Bitcoin can't be stopped. So again, if the United States wants to flub on this development, then they're just going to be playing catch up, right? Then they're just going to be playing catch up. So this is the very first time that Bitcoin Google searches have overtaken stocks. So searches for Bitcoin have overtaken searches for stocks since October 2017. You guys remember what happened, after October 2017? We went from like here to like here in like 5 seconds. Suggesting interest is beginning to return to the decentralized currency. People, however, usually search for a specific stock rather than just the word stocks, but the young in particular might be trying to learn what stocks are, which is good. It excites me that more young people are waking up to investment, to savings, to real estate, to things of this nature. So if the United States were to decide we don't want cryptocurrency to happen in the United States and tried to ban it, I'm pretty confident we couldn't succeed in doing that because this is a global motivation. That quote comes from Idaho Senator Crapo. So Crapo said this on the floor, and one question that he brought up in response to this is, so we can't ban cryptocurrency, but how can we stop foreign companies from ICOing in the United States, from doing unregistered security token sales, things of this nature? So here's the challenge. Digital money moves frictionlessly globally at the speed of the internet. And that is the big challenge. That is the reason, because Bitcoin is global and moves frictionlessly at the speed of the internet, governments are not going to have a lot of success banning cryptocurrency. They can try, but again, any government that we see taking steps toward this is going to be blatantly seen as authoritarian, and we don't really like that on the world stage. So here's the difference. So I want to point out a big difference, and this is what these senators actually pointed out. A big difference between something like Bitcoin and something like Litecoin is that Bitcoin can be private. Remember that Bitcoin is pseudo-anonymous, but Bitcoin can be quite private for small transactions. Let's say 10 Bitcoins. It can be pretty private because if you're only moving like 10 Bitcoins or so, you can't be sure whether that's a big purchase. You're not exactly sure where it's going, although you can track the wallet, but you can't be sure if somebody is just moving the Bitcoin from address to address, from wallet to wallet. You're not exactly sure. On the other hand, when you see a really massive transaction, say 200,000 Bitcoin being moved around, well, that raises eyebrows, and it's easy to pretty much make an educated guess about where that crypto is going or what it's being used for if you do your chain analysis well enough. And there's all kinds of companies and methods and protocols to actually do this. But smaller transactions, not so much, especially because there's so gosh darn many of them. The difference between that and Litecoin is that Litecoin is not private for small transactions because your personal information is tied to your payments. So the central authority knows what you're buying for breakfast, what you're buying for lunch, what political campaigns you're supporting. But on the other hand, because of the way that their validator system is set up, because of the way that their node system is set up, large transactions from the government, for example, can be obscured and you're not going to see that they happen, right? Because it's not all publicly explorable. So whereas Bitcoin can be private for small citizens, for private transactions, and hard to be private for very large government transactions or whale transactions, right? There's goddamn whale alerts on Twitter feed. Something like Litecoin would be exactly the opposite, transparent for governments or corporations and not very transparent for private citizens and small individuals. So on the other hand, banning Litecoin would be easy. The government could just outlaw Litecoin. Banning Bitcoin, on the other hand, you would have to take down all the nodes. There are currently over 10,000 nodes in the Bitcoin network and an estimated 100,000 that are undiscoverable because they do not allow external connections. Some run on the Onion network. And many behind a VPN. So they're globally distributed as well. Interestingly enough, Europe is currently running more nodes than the United States, with many popping up in Berlin. And as I said, any government that is seen to be just authoritarian, just visually banning cryptocurrency is going to be seen as authoritarian. Even China, a government that has banned cryptocurrency exchanges, but has legally protected the ownership of cryptocurrency, is being routed around, just like the early days of the internet. Okay, I want to get into a really good Medium article here from Alex Gladstein, and this is the moral case for the Lightning Network. So he starts off with a pretty funny story here about how he was buying a toothbrush-shaped dog treat, and he was walking out of the store, I think it was Petco, when he got an advertisement on his phone for the exact item that he purchased within minutes of walking out of the store. So that means that his personal information about the purchase was shared with advertisers nearly instantaneously. We are in an age where digital payments are dominant over cash payments, but that leaks our privacy because those payment models are tied to our personal identity. If you buy something with a credit card, if you buy something online with any kind of, with PayPal, Venmo, it's all tied to your personal identity. And most of those companies are selling your private data to advertisers. So corporate cryptocurrencies, government issued digital assets, all of these will also be linked to private identities and be able to be used against us. In China, for example, where you can receive social credit for buying good items like baby items, for example, or get dinged for buying things like cigarettes. There is a log in China that is keeping track of everything that you buy and monitoring that, whether you are a good or a bad citizen. It monitors if you smoke pot. It monitors if you speak ill about the Communist Party, for example. And what does that mean? What does that information mean in the hands of a totalitarian and authoritarian government? That gets really Orwellian really, really quickly. And it's all centered around privacy and the government's access or corporations' access to your private purchasing data. So for privacy, which is an absolute necessity for freedom, it's clear that we need to have a safe means of transacting, of purchasing things without leaking our personal data. That is a basic human right, and it is a fundamental right that one can transact privately without anybody knowing what it is they're purchasing, because it's nobody's damn business what you do with your own money. The more our daily purchases are tracked, the more we move ourselves, again, as I said, into a very Orwellian situation. So, using cash, which you can still readily do in most of the world, using cash gives one financial privacy, but cash is being attacked and limited. We are transitioning away from a cash-based society to a cashless society. Now, there's lots of stores that have already gone cashless, and a cashless society is, by nature, the way that it's set up right now with things like credit cards, PayPal, Venmo, is a surveillance society. So, but what if we had a digital alternative to cash? Man, if only somebody would have wrote an amazing white paper back in 2009 that talked, it's called Bitcoin. Right. Bitcoin, digital cash, peer-to-peer electronic payment system. Bitcoin provides that. The problem is its creators and its founding community had to make several trade-offs, choosing to prioritize security and decentralization and censorship resistance and settlement guarantees over speed and privacy. As I've said many times, Bitcoin is a pseudonymous ledger, right? It is not fully anonymous. And that's because trade-offs, but for that very reason, because those trade-offs were made, that's why the Bitcoin network and protocol is so strong, because it is safe, it is secure. You know that your transactions are going to go through. It's never been taken down. But the Lightning Network, due to, and this comes right off the back of what I talked about yesterday with the UASF, with the user-activated soft fork, and why it was such a victory for Bitcoin, why it was such a sterling victory for Bitcoin, because the introduction of BIP 141 allowed us to introduce SegWit, and on top of that, layer 2 solutions like the Lightning Network. The Lightning Network does so much. The Lightning Network helps solve those problems, the trade-off problems that had to be made to make the network secure. So the Lightning Network is going to allow us to take Bitcoin, which is limited on its own to just a handful of global transactions per second, and a public-only pseudonymous ledger, and massively upgrade its speed, privacy, and daily transaction volume. Lightning payments, they're instant, they are onion routed, and if they continue to grow at the pace that they're growing right now, could one day, not so far away, be used to route the billions of transactions that globally are put on every single day and decentralized. So that means that the Lightning Network and Bitcoin, as it currently is, will continue to be available to everyone in the world, regardless of age, gender, creed, nationality, doesn't matter. Anybody can use the Lightning Network. It is free, it is decentralized, it is libertarian in nature, and anybody can have access to it, unlike any government or corporate coin or corporate solution or government solution where you have a centralized authority that can limit your restriction, limit your use of the network based on your nationality, your age, your race, your political affiliation, your philosophical views. They can limit all that. Not only that, they have your private information because your purchasing is tied to your personal identity. So they can create a log of you. They can track what you're buying, and that all leaks your private information, which is very important for establishing power. Knowledge is power. So we need to keep the knowledge to ourselves. We need to keep our information, our knowledge, our data to ourselves and not leak it out to the public. So that is the moral case for the Lightning Network. It's a fantastic article. I highly recommend you guys go see that, go read this, and understand fundamentally why the Lightning Network is so important, why it will be the solution to all the problems that we're having. Not all the problems that we're having, but that is the solution to this problem of privacy leaking from our personal purchases and from your personal identity being tied to your purchases and from your personal purchasing information being sold to advertisers. This can get very Orwellian very fast, and we have to stop this. And that is what we are actively doing with Bitcoin development and with Lightning Network development. It is the future, and I do see it being globally adopted every single day and continuing to progress at an absolute snowball pace. Nothing can stop it. Nothing can stop it. Embrace the future, guys. The last thing that I'm going to touch on is the FCA guidance. So the FCA is the UK's regulatory body. They have issued, in my opinion, the best guidance on cryptocurrency regulation to date. I think it's a very fair and I think it's open-minded perspective that I think is very, very helpful to the space. They make distinctions between security tokens, regulated and unregulated tokens, utility tokens, e-money tokens. This is simply the best framework that I've seen. It's a great starting place. Basically, it says, to sum it up, exchange tokens, which are basically the umbrella term that they use for most cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, fall outside of their remit for consumer protection, but they're not banned. The only thing that they're talking about proposing to ban are crypto derivative trading products, such as Bitcoin futures and Bitcoin options. So that's still on the table. So that's a negative, but that's crypto derivatives. I think that that's terrible. I think that crypto derivatives offer the most lucrative and honestly, if used appropriately, the safest investment vehicles. Maybe not investment vehicles, but trading vehicles definitely for individuals. Maybe not the safest investment vehicles for sure. But probably the best thing that they did here is the distinction between the e-money tokens, things like stable coins and things that are going to be used for remittance or payment networks, and security tokens, which is good. Regulations for securities should be different from those from payments. And one of our biggest gripes here in the States is that it seems like our regulators just want to lump everything into, is it a security? Is it not a security? Well, if you guys just take a note from the FCA here and actually diversify and start identifying what all these different tokens are and what realms they fall into, maybe the goddamn SEC can get off its ass a lot faster and get us some clear regulation so that we can stop living in this limbo of fear of what the government's going to do. All right. So, good stuff, guys. And all the links, of course, as always, will be in the show notes at the end of the show and posted in the description so that you guys can check these out. Now, getting down to the requests, we got a lot of those. We got a lot of requests. Malicious Upload says, can I add a coin to the list? When BTC and when USDT from Binance? No, moving on. Just kidding, man. Texacoat Ltd says, hey, Justin, can you please post your EMA settings on the trading view? Thanks in advance. You're the best. No, thank you, man. That's actually not necessary because you can just go to indicators in trading view and type in cracking. And what's going to pop up here is cracking cryptocurrency exponential moving averages. There is my script. You're free to use it as much as you like, man. It is a public indicator made available under the MIT license. It's all yours, man. Do you guys think Justin's a Bitcoin maximalist? Nah. I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I've come to this determination. I'm not actually a Bitcoin maximalist. I'm an altcoin minimalist. Right? Big distinction. Okay. Let's go to Let's go. Let's go down to the lobby and buy ourselves some snacks. Hey. Let's see. We got win. All I do is win, 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 no matter what. Okay, we've got Wink at the voice of an angel.
Yes, the voice of an angel. In the arms of the angels. Better buy this at 4 Satoshis. So we can ride this on up to moon and make a couple Bitcoin. Liquidity assuming it's there.
All right, so anyways. Sorry, 3 Satoshis. Well, we have no data on the daily. We're going to have to go down to the 4 hour. We're going to have to go down to the 1 hour. We're going to have to go down to the 30-minute chart. 15-minute chart. Hey, look, man. I'll be honest with you, man. I'll be honest with you. I have no comment on this, right? I have no comment. I don't, I mean, listen, it's an IEO token. These things have a pretty good track record of pumping. M1CZ, thank you so much for joining the community over there on Twitch, my good friend. You know, these things have a pretty good track record of, you know, of falling, accumulating, popping off. You know, we haven't had one that is such a low sat for such a long time. So that's a completely like different realm that you're trading into, because literally every movement is like, what, a 50% movement? I mean, seriously, a 1 Satoshi movement is 34.64%. So here's what you do. Here's what you do with this. You either wait for there to be enough data on the hourly of the 4 hours so you can actually get a decent trade in. Because what you're doing right now is you're going to be fighting the spread, right? You're going to be fighting the spread. This is the same problem with like trading NPXS 9 out of 10 times, where you try to set a bet at 10 sats so you can sell at 11 sats, and then like you never get filled, and then you can never sell at 11 because, again, you're fighting the spread. And unless you've got a bot designed to do that for you, and unless you've got capital share to actually push those orders through, you're just going to be fighting the spread, man. The best thing to do with this is it's an IEO token. So again, this is completely like up to your capital, man. You know, put a trade on it, which means what is your trade risk? 1 to 3%. So whatever that number is, buy that amount. So literally, this is one of the few occasions where you would buy that amount of your portfolio, right? So, you know, put like 1 to 3%, snag up some wink, and look to maybe make 100 or 200% profit on it potentially. And then there you go. You just made, 5, 6, 7% of your total portfolio. And if you lose, I mean, the risk to reward ratio is again pretty low, because you're only it's like losing one trade, right? MT Coiner, man, so good to see you. It's been a while since you've been back. Thank you so much for the very generous donation, my good friend. $15. Thank you so much, man. Hopefully you're doing absolutely fantastic. No question. Just showing some love. Happy Friday, all. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Don Candon, what is my opinion on Williams Alligator? Do I find it useful? All those jaws opening and closing. Which time frames does it work best? I think the daily time frame. My answer, what time frame's the best on everything, is always going to be the daily. Williams Alligator is actually really, really neat. I think Williams Alligator is really neat. I think Williams Alligator works really well with a baseline, because the Williams Alligator kind of gives you 3 different stages of how strong a signal can be. So the Williams Alligator is something that you can apply to your charts. It doesn't give you directional bias or anything like that, I think. But it just lets you know that when you have a trade, based on where price is in the jaws of the alligator, or what the alligator is saying, That can let you know, like, do I want to go full risk on this trade? Do I want to take low risk on this trade? Or do I want to take medium risk on this trade? That's the best application of the alligator that I've found. Do I think the real Satoshi will ever be revealed? No, I don't think so. Or God, I hope not. So that's my analysis on Windman. Let's look at the USDT chart. Now, this is a little bit more manageable, man. The USDT chart, this is a little bit more manageable because there's more liquid. There's more to work with here. Let's see here. 15-minute time frame. We've gotten one long signal here that was a pretty good trade. And we're getting one right now here. So I do think that potentially there's a long in the table here. Maybe look for this pullback to 38,311, give or take, like this. Or excuse me, we need to go back to the. We're on crypto now, so we need to switch our baselines back to the 13. Potentially looking at that 38.1 area, 38.136, potentially 38.133. Just call it 38.130 maybe. Or for this nice breakout above 39,405. This is the 15-minute chart, so again. Be a little bit, take that with a grain of salt. Again, personally, I would feel better about waiting for the nice hourly, because if we click up to the hourly, we can see we're just coming up to resistance right now. So I would be pretty cautious about that. I mean, best thing is that you wait for data to be here on the 4 hour, but on the 1 hour, definitely be looking for potentially this trade. There's really not enough data there, man. So I guess you're just gonna have to kick it on the 1 hour on the 15-minute time frame right now. So there's definitely a LTF opportunity there. Trade safely. Crypto Stream Radio asks for Cardano. Cardano Bitcoin on the daily is in a bearish trend. We are below the daily baseline. Minx is bearish. Interestingly enough, we have a rising explosion level and Minx throwing up a conflicting directional bias. So no trade zone for me, not jumping into the short. We are sitting on support. This is our first test of this level of support. So I'd be a little hesitant really taking any trade here. Just looking at this subjectively, I would say that the reversal trade or the reversion of the mean trade is there on the table, maybe for an 8% move to the upside, but we have nothing confirming that. So there's really no reason to take the trade. Again, expanding explosion level when everything else is bearish does not really, if you inverse the chart of Veda, it's bullish as all get out, man. Nothing really speaks to me here of a good trade to the upside. Let's go down to the 4 hour chart. 4 hour gave us a really good short signal here. That's when Wada flipped bearish, and we would have gotten the initial short signal here. So 3 periods of consolidation, and then price scooping all the way down to the downside. I would definitely be taking profits off your short trade. Let's pull up our exit indicator. Yeah, interestingly enough, we got the nice crossover just now on this 4 hour candle. So definitely time to be exiting the ADA short. We're pretty, again, oversold, overbought, don't really matter. But you can see that we are extremely oversold on the Fisher Transform for the 4 hour. So the reversal trade is potentially there, at least back up to the primary baseline, maybe at 569. But trade cautiously, guys. It's hard. Aussie Kiwi. I did look at the Aussie Kiwi. I looked at Cardano Bitcoin. Let's look at EOS USD for you, my good friend. Let's look on the perpetual contract. Looking at EOS USD on the daily. Again, very similar to Cardano. We are closing below the primary baseline, giving me a bearish bias. Cannot be looking for longs at this point in time. But Wada explosion has flipped bullish. We have Fisher Transform below the zero line. We have Minx below the zero line. So everything is trying to get us to go into a short, but we just don't have confirmation yet from Wada explosion, so we won't be looking to take that trade. Getting over to the 4 hour. We do actually have a short signal coming in on the 4 hour. So let's Let's boot up Quadriga. And we are below the qualifying line. So we are in pullback watching mode on EOS USD. Looking for a pullback up here into 417 to 427 before we can actually get into a trade. So let's see how we close on the next 4-hour candle, and then potentially there'll be a trade there on the table. And then dollar pound, I did that one as well. Let's see here. Can I look at Digibyte from SeeTheKarma? DGBBTC on the daily time frame, getting rid of Quadriga. Let's see here. Lines. DGBBTC is actually signaling a confirmed Water explosion trade on this current candle right here, as we can see, with a rising explosion level. We are below the baseline, so price is extremely bearish. Mix is below zero, very bearish. Fisher transform below zero, not giving you the exit on the long trade yet. Yeah, this looks pretty terrible, man. If we were to plot out targets from where we're sitting right now, I mean, you'd be looking at 86 to 70 sats, potentially, downside targets. So, Alex, why did I dump the LTC BTC trade yesterday? So we closed below the tertiary baseline, and then also I saw that Bitcoin had the potential to be quite bullish, and I knew that if that happened, that was going to wreck any alt to BTC positions that I was in. So took a little discretion, was a little proactive, and exited the position. That is why. Okay. Spock Talk says, do I have a video about starting and building a portfolio? Should most assets be in an IRA? So investment is something that I'm very passionate about. This channel so far has been focused mostly on trading and how to build a systemic, profitable trading system based on an if this then that strategy. Now, here's what I will say. I will say that as we continue to move forward with what we do with cracking cryptocurrency, we will be doing more education. We're going to be introducing Forex trading, which is something that we've been gearing up for almost a year. We're going to be introducing later on. So once that's successful and we've added Forex successfully into the arm of what cracking cryptocurrency does, offers, and is proficient in, we will. One thing that I'm really, really excited in is teaching people how to build a portfolio, is at least how I do it. What to look for, how to evaluate PE ratios, how to look at reports, how to buy, what stocks are good, how can you hedge your stocks, how can you build an all-weather portfolio, how to invest in cryptocurrency, what are good ways to do that, what mindset should you have when investing. And I've covered more and more of those topics as I've continued to produce videos and do this channel. So I do not at this moment in time, but it's something that we're going to be adding later on. And with that being said, guys, thank you guys so much for spending your Friday morning and afternoon with me. It's been a fantastic stream, guys. Let's start wrapping up. I want to give a big shout out to MT Coiner, donator from today's video. I want to give a big shout out to our subscribers and followers today, Lesha Cash, Mara Silva, and M1CZ. Thank you guys so much for joining the community. I look forward to seeing you guys in continued streams. Let's see here. Make sure. We'll do all that here in just a second. And again, just thank you guys for spending your day with me. Make sure to head over to Discord, discord.crackingcryptocurrency.com. Join our community and keep the conversation going as we move through the weekend, guys. as we move through the weekend. Let's see. I don't know where you posted them. It's hard. I checked the technical analysis channel. I don't know if you DM them to me. But if you did, I will definitely take a look at them and make comments in the Discord. My day is going to be pretty free today, if not throughout the weekend. So actually, it's not free at all. I've got a ton of stuff to do, but anyways, guys, sorry. We got to wrap the show up. So thank you guys so much for joining me for another exciting episode of Breaking Bitcoin. It's been fantastic to spend this day with you. If you guys would like to join us in the premium trading group, if you guys would like to learn our rules, utilize our tools, access our proprietary indicators, learn the Pathways to Profit strategy building course, have access to all our analysts and all our trade setups and our community of traders and investors, you guys can, of course, check that out at premium.krakencryptocurrency.com to get started today. Link is in the description down below, as well as the link to our Discord to join our community as well. If you guys enjoy the show, but you're not always able to catch it live, make sure to head over to breakingbitcoin.money, breakingbitcoin.money, to get links to all our podcasts. You can watch us at your leisure on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Podbean, Google Podcasts, Google Play Music, and iTunes. Did I mention iTunes? If you guys go leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, we would highly appreciate the support. Make sure if you guys want to support what we're doing here and you want to support the show, to subscribe, hit the thumbs up button, give us a follow, and share this content around to your friends, your family, even people you don't like. We are trying to build a community here, guys, and you guys are helping us do it every single day. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, sarcastic remarks, and or death threats, make sure to drop them in the comment section down below, and you will be entered into a chance to win our daily crypto comment giveaway. Make sure to take care, guys. I will see you on the next video, and trade safely. Until next time.